A rejected academy boy turns heavenly power into humiliation, fear, and war. Spoilers ahead for this stretch of the Chinese manhua. Li Yunxiao may look like a reckless young student, but his mind carries the experience of Gu Feiyang, a former martial peak who understands cultivation far beyond the academy's teachers. That difference is what makes every confrontation dangerous. His enemies think they are dealing with a suddenly talented boy. Yunxiao is actually reading their flaws, their techniques, and their pride like open books. This part of the story pushes his comeback beyond simple payback. His victories begin embarrassing elders, disturbing academy leadership, threatening family politics, and hinting that the knowledge inside him may be connected to powers people are terrified to remember. Li Yunxiao's public challenge turns terrifying when the air above the arena starts moving like the world itself is answering him. A white-haired elder realizes the young fighter is not relying on ordinary strength. Yunxiao is borrowing the force of heaven and earth, shaping it through a blazing palm technique that blooms into golden seals across the sky. The red-haired woman and the academy crowd can only stare as those handprints multiply into a burning formation. The purple-haired opponent has already lost the rhythm of the fight, but Yunxiao does not offer mercy. The attack crashes down and leaves him battered in front of everyone. Then Yunxiao pushes the humiliation further, because this was never only about winning. It was about making a rival swallow the insult he had tried to force on someone else. The defeated opponent's suffering is not enough to slow Yunxiao down. He takes a small item from the fallen rival, then keeps pressing the punishment until the entire scene becomes too brutal for the watching elders to ignore. Martial King Zhong Lishan of Jialu Academy rushes in, furious that a student would strike someone already ruined by the fight. But Yunxiao refuses to bow just because a higher-ranked man raises his voice. He challenges the elders' outrage, turning the accusation back toward the hypocrisy of people who only demand restraint after their side has been crushed. The crowd freezes because Yunxiao is no longer insulting another student. He is provoking a martial king in public. Zhong Lishan releases blue spiritual force, and Yunxiao answers with a golden aura instead of fear. The pressure around Yunxiao's technique exposes a deeper martial history. The story reaches back to the snow peaks of Xinxiao Palace, the 10 nine-star martial sovereigns, and the Great Wind and Cloud Poem, a technique tied to legendary names like Yang Di. That history makes the elder panic, because Yunxiao appears far too low in rank to control such a dangerous move. If the power falls completely, the opponent could be beyond saving. Yunxiao, however, treats the disaster as something he already measured. He frames the fight as a student match and insists he will not lose control. Then he proves the difference between possession of power and understanding of power, defeating Lan Xian with repeated single-move dominance. The crowd sees arrogance, but the red-haired woman sees martial law refined into something that may even help her own cultivation. After the clash, Yunxiao's calm confidence pulls him into another kind of battlefield. A red-haired woman confronts him with the energy of someone used to controlling the room, but Yunxiao's blunt attitude and hidden calculations quickly irritate her. Their exchange turns sharp, then comedic, because she keeps reacting while he acts as if every outcome is already part of his plan. She drags him through the academy grounds, drawing the attention of students and staff who are already whispering about his impossible victories. By the time they reach a classroom or training hall, Yunxiao is no longer just a fighter with strange strength. He is a walking disturbance. Even indoors, he stays relaxed while everyone around him reacts with shock, and the scene erupts into comic chaos when an older man is suddenly sent flying near the front. Yunxiao's public lesson becomes an open insult to the academy's hierarchy. A sign encourages students to learn from him, and that idea alone is enough to make older teachers bristle. Master Jiayushi steps in because his son is involved, but Yunxiao's red-haired companion turns the confrontation into pure humiliation, slapping, mocking, and forcing the older man to lose face before the crowd. Under the comedy, the academy leadership notices something far more serious. Yunxiao can guide students with impossible precision, yet his methods resemble dangerous lost techniques connected to an old tragedy. Principal Zhang tests him with another student's cultivation problem, and Yunxiao quickly identifies the flaw before writing instructions for correction. Then the story shifts to Tianxian City, where Jun Lingtian searches for his brother Jun Lang and finds another conflict waiting. The story moves into a harsher outdoor confrontation where the exact motives are unclear, but the danger is visible immediately. Several cultivator-like figures gather in a snowy or icy space, and a young dark-haired fighter stands near the center of the pressure. Pale figures and onlookers face him as the tension rises, then the battlefield erupts with blue-white force. A red impact flashes through the clash, suggesting someone has been struck, though the target is hard to confirm. The fight keeps escalating through tense faces, defensive motion, and gathering energy until a larger green aura begins to dominate the scene. What matters most is the shape of the conflict. One side tries to overwhelm through scale and spectacle, while the young fighter appears to withstand or answer it. The outcome remains uncertain, which makes the next turn feel even more unstable. That instability carries into another martial clash, beginning with a blonde young fighter reacting to a sudden dramatic shift. A chaotic pink tone burst surrounds the moment, making it unclear whether the scene is an attack, a memory, or an aura breaking loose, but it instantly changes the mood. Soon, the action widens into movement through the sky as figures travel toward a confrontation. Robed cultivators gather in an outdoor martial space, and no one looks ready to retreat. A tall dark-robed figure stands out as the pressure builds, while others exchange unreadable words before violence takes over. Green-blue energy, fire, sword-like force, and explosive impacts tear through the scene. The exact names remain hidden, but the purpose is clear. Yunxiao's world is getting bigger, and stronger fighters are being pulled toward the same storm. Danger reaches the Li side when Yunxiao faces a powerful bow attack built around connected arrows and a State Guardian golden bow technique. The enemy tries to keep distance, turning multiple arrows into one huge fiery projectile meant to crush him before he can get close. Yunxiao answers by doing exactly what the archer fears. He moves forward through the pressure, cuts with a crescent-like green slash, and keeps closing the space until the ranged advantage collapses. His speed and sword force scatter the attackers across the courtyard or street, leaving the battlefield broken behind him. Afterward, the blonde young woman realizes Yunxiao protected her and survived the danger. Butler Li reports that the family master is recovering, while Li Chunyang's name reminds everyone that the Li family has power, enemies, and a legacy too large to ignore. The focus turns inward and darker, opening with a young man in a rocky or underground-looking space where he seems to recover, cultivate, or speak with a hidden power. A glowing blue formation surrounds a shadowed figure, giving the scene the feeling of something sealed, ancient, or internal being activated. Then the story shifts to a brighter interior gathering. A pink-haired girl, the red-haired woman, and several others react to a small central figure or energy event glowing with golden force. Whatever happens, there is enough to draw everyone's attention and deepen the mystery. Soon after, a dark-haired young man stands before older or higher status figures in a formal chamber. A large golden-robed man becomes involved, and the argument turns physical. Fiery and blue energy make it clear that this dispute is escalating, not ending. The final movement settles around a tense indoor exchange involving a blonde young man, a long-haired orange-brown figure in pale clothing, and several companions gathered in the same room. The words are hard to read, but the body language is sharp enough. The orange-haired figure leans in, pushes the confrontation physically, and appears to grab or restrain someone as the others react with alarm. The blonde young man stays composed, watching carefully instead of losing control, which makes the tension feel more political than random. Later, the group continues in a darker torchlit setting, as if planning or confronting someone away from public view. But secrecy does not protect them for long. Outside, green-clothed martial figures rush in, turning private pressure into a sudden ambush and leaving the conflict on the edge of open violence. What makes this stretch exciting is that Yunxiao's power is no longer just about beating bullies. Every victory attacks a social structure. He humiliates students who trusted status, angers elders who expected obedience, and alarms teachers who see his knowledge crossing into forbidden territory. The comedy keeps the pace light, especially when the red-haired woman turns authority figures into punchlines, but beneath that humor is a serious shift. Yunxiao is proving that cultivation is not only about rank. It is about comprehension, timing, and knowing exactly where a person's foundation breaks. That makes him useful, frightening, and politically dangerous. By the end, his family is being threatened, strange powers are awakening elsewhere, and new ambushes suggest the world will not let him rise quietly. That is where this recap leaves us. Yunxiao has shaken the academy, defended the Li side, and stepped into a wider storm of hidden techniques, family pressure, and incoming enemies. Subscribe for the next recap, because the more he reveals, the more dangerous the people watching him become.